Okay, just a little recording here to try to get you guys familiar with Desmos and how you can use it to graph. So you're going to load Desmos, just put it in Google, and then go to the graphing calculator link, and you'll get a screen that looks kind of like this. It probably will have this on there too, which is just where you type equations in, and you can see that I can just click on that. So while you're doing this, your graph settings are this little wrench up here. Now, when we're doing trig, I want to be able to put my x-axis in radians. So I'm going to click right down here, and notice that the keyboard comes up, and I'm going to go -4, and here's the pi key, and then I'm going to click there and go up to 4 pi. And then the step, as soon as you do the step by pi divided by 2, notice that now your calculator has switched the x-axis to radian mode. And you can make this bigger and stuff too. So there's -4 pi to 4 pi. Now if I go back here and I want to go, let's say I want to go -4 to 4. It's just that simple. Okay, and then if you want to hide this, you can just click on there. All right, so I'm going to graph the basic sine curve. So I just click in there, function, sine, x right there, and close parentheses, and there's my sine curve. Again, if I want to hide this, I get a pretty good picture. So again, how are you going to do this? And I'll probably do another recording without Desmos where you just use just like paper and pencil. So as you're doing this now, let's suppose I want to look at sine 2x. So I'm just going to go to the second equation and function sine 2x. Now doesn't that change the period? And again, if you want to hide this, you can see that. Now if you think you got too much color, you can stretch this out, and you can go from like -2 pi to 2 pi. But I think you notice this blue curve, again, you got these points here, right there, and you can see how it's gonna show all of these points, whatever ones you need. And that -0.866, that's -√3/2. So yeah, I think you can see those values. So this would be pi over 4, 1. So now you can see that this thing is one cycle, the blue curve. Instead of going 0 to 2 pi, it went 0 to pi. So then your 1/4 of the way right there is pi over 4, and 3/4 of the way is 3 pi over 4. So you can play around with the Desmos and do almost any graph that you want. If I want to delete that one, and what if I want to do 2 sine x? So 2 sine x, I'll close the parenthesis. And now again, if I hide this, you can see again that this is going -2 to 2 because that 2 is out front. So I've shown how the amplitude changed, how the period has changed. You can do almost any graph you want on here. If I go back here and I delete this, and let's suppose I want to shift this to the right, pi over 4. So sine, and then x, subtract pi divided by 4, and then close parenthesis. So isn't this the same graph moved to the right, pi over 4? So the brownish colored one, the original, and then move it to the right, pi over 4. And again, you'll see pi over 4 is 0. These are all going to be done for you, so it's kind of nice. There's -pi over 4. So one cycle from -pi over 4, right there, to 7 pi over 4. Isn't that a difference of 8 pi over 4? So that's one cycle. So just a little demonstration on how to use Desmos. And again, you could go back and change your settings any place on here that you want. Again, if I want to go back to that -4 pi to 4 pi, it's pretty simple just to do that. and then you hide this. Cosine curve. Again, remember cosine starts at its peak, and it gets those V-looking things, and 2 cycles would look like a W. If you wanted to slide this down 1 unit, cosine X minus 1. That moves everything down 1 unit. And again, you can see it if you hide these. You know, we're going to get to these other ones, but we can maybe show it right now. What is a tangent curve going to look like? We'll get to this in class, and boy, you get all these lines. Let me graph that again, my bad. And it gets all these cycles. Well, again, where tangent equals 0, like at pi over 2 here, you're going to get undefined because you can't divide by 0 because it's sine over cosine. So these, and again, maybe for this one we only want to go from negative 2 pi to 2 pi. That's what I've asked you to do. And now it's a little bit easier to see what one cycle looks like. Now, do you see that this repeats every pi? It starts going up at 0 and it starts going up at pi. So this one has a different period than sine and cosine. So just an introduction to how Desmos can do these graphs for you. I'll probably do another recording where I'm just going to use the smart notebook, and graph these out just like paper and pencil without Desmos, and then you can use Desmos to check. All right, so play around with this a little bit, and hopefully this is enough for you to see an example or two.